This is how the brain actually functions. So unless you want to waste years learning useless information that has no real application to trading, I recommend watching what will probably be the most important trading psychology video I will ever make. This will be my greatest contribution to aspiring traders on how learning actually works based on real research. Our brain has evolved to be efficient, and that efficiency extends to the way it learns. Not everything we know how to do has developed from sitting in a classroom. All of you have taken some math class in your life. Think back to the hardest one you took. For me, it was statistics and honors pre-calc. I probably can't do any of those math problems anymore. Can you do all of the ones you used to be able to do years ago? Probably not all of them, but at one point you could. Right now, you are doing explicit learning by watching this video. You are listening and hopefully paying attention to what I'm saying, purposefully remembering little bits. This is just like any class you've ever taken, but this is only half of the puzzle. Most of you will have played a sport at some point in your life, and some of you will have played the same one and got really good at it compared to your peers. For some of you, this type of learning manifested in video games like Rocket League, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, or Mario. Many of you are like me, rising to the top in a sport as well as in a video game. Now, take whatever sport and/or video game you're good at and think about it. Have you ever played with someone new who was awful? You try to give them tips on how to get better, but it just doesn't seem to get through to them. How about when you first learned how to ride a bike? I crashed about 10 times before starting to get the hang of it. I bet you did too. It didn't matter what the person helping you said, because the only way to learn how to do it was to just fail until your body learned how to do it. It was learning that went on without your direct awareness of it. How about when you learned how to swim? Personally, I've almost drowned 3 times. For 2 of those, I was under for a bit, and then an adult miraculously pulled me out. Maybe that's why I am the way I am. This isn't time for therapy, though. Do you think trading is more like learning to become really good at Mario or riding a bike, or do you think it's more like taking a math class? Do you slowly develop an intuition about how to do it, or do you use notes and memorize them until you figured out what to do in every situation by recalling different pieces of information? Or maybe, do you feel like it's an equal or skewed combination of the two? I want you to think about this for a moment so that this information actually sticks in your mind. Pause now or continue watching. You may find value in courses and in videos about patterns, technical analysis, and trading strategies. There will be bits of information that might help, just like being taught how to properly shift gears and what to do while riding a bike will help. Of course, without the implicit ability to ride that bike, these instructions mean nothing. But when you combine the type of learning going on without our awareness with some explicit learning, aka being told how to use the different gears, that's when the best of both worlds come together. Explicit learning on its own will never make you good at trading. You are wasting your time watching hundreds and thousands of hours of videos made by people who usually don't even trade. And all of this vague and unstructured information is not going to stay in your long-term memory. Implicit learning on its own is what makes discretionary traders successful. Day Trader Next Door on YouTube is the best example of successful trading without a system that I know of. He watches price action and trades dynamically, not from a signal, but from intuition. It deeply saddens me that a discretionary trader like him is now selling a course, since trading on intuition can only happen from thousands of hours of experience and implicitly internalizing price action as a subconscious language. You can go to his channel and watch his magic happen, but also know that no matter how many times you watch his videos, you will never be able to trade like him until you've put in the work and time through actually trading yourself. I used to watch him to try and see how to trade, but now I understand how learning works. Now I occasionally watch him for inspiration. It is common, certainly in my visits to proprietary trading firms, hedge funds, and investment banks, to find discretionary traders who have achieved a high level of trading success year after year, trading actively. These are not mere anonymous figures on bulletin boards puffing up their performance stats. These are traders who have account statements and risk managers able to verify their superior performance, and yet they cannot verbalize specific rules or systems for their trading. In short, they have knowledge, but it is not of the verbal, declarative kind. How does implicit learning occur? Through intensive repetition in which individuals become sensitive to complex and noisy patterns. This is how young children learn to speak grammatical English before they can verbalize the rules of English grammar. It's also how we can identify a face that we could never adequately describe in words, and it's how we know when such a face is starting to display anger or sadness. Serial reaction time experiments show that subjects can learn complex statistical probabilities in sequences of data with enough repetition and feedback. Interestingly, they can anticipate events in those sequences, but cannot verbalize the complex patterns that they have internalized. Profitable traders are making plays based on information that they cannot actually describe. We all know how to draw a supply and demand zone, and if you don't, you can learn how to in less than 3 minutes. Yet, this doesn't mean you and the 10-year supply and demand veteran trader are going to have the same yearly returns, even if you were using and followed the exact same risk protocols. There is something fundamentally missing between us and the trading veterans, which is obviously experience. But what actually is trading experience in regards to explicit and implicit memory? In my opinion, it is the internalization of non-communicable information that they use in order to drive their decisions, while at the same time falsely believing that it is the relatively simple system they are using that is causing success. Okay, so these expert traders using a system that a kindergartner could follow are succeeding not because of the system, but because of intuition that they can't put into words. They have learned the markets subconsciously and have learned price action as a language that cannot be spoken to anyone else. Of course, there are systems that work without needing thousands of hours of experience to develop that implicit memory, but that's only for algorithms. If the system you are working on actually worked by itself, then you're wasting your time and resources by not just coding it. Let me repeat. If it was the system alone, and not the combination of the system with intuition, or even just intuition on its own and absolutely nothing to do with the system, which I suspect is what's happening 90% of the time, then you would just code it. If your trading was profitable because of a system you have where x equals 2, if y equals blah, if x is doing blah, and if volume is doing blah blah, then you would code it. But you and I know that the system wouldn't actually work. Why? Because it doesn't work. The 5-year veterans are attributing their success to an equation you could learn in first grade instead of to the true reason, which is their hard work, dedication, years in the market, and thousands of hours of experience internalizing on a non-communicable level the patterns and movements of price action. Oh, those successful traders with 5 years of experience claiming that technical analysis is what made them successful? Maybe. Or maybe technical analysis was just the device that taught them the language of price action. Maybe it helped them understand from a new perspective what is already on display with all those candles or whatever it is you use to look at how price moves. Support and resistance don't show anything you weren't already looking at. Price action was already there, and lines and boxes on the chart don't change anything beyond telling you a story of what happened from a new perspective. Experience is the separator not because the veterans are better at drawing a line from the top to another top and then to another top. It's because they're making intuitive decisions that can't be quantified into an algorithm. Many of you watch Day Trader Next Door. Could you imagine even trying to start making an algorithm to mimic the way he trades? It would drive even the most qualified programmers insane trying to find the common denominators between his decisions. While he may have some indicators up on the chart like Keltner channels, he's not actually making trades based on them. His system that he uses is making educated guesses about how price will react to certain levels, yet even that can't be quantified. The video in the top right tested price reactions to 100 levels on futures for the S&P 500, and there was no clear pattern. The top traders are making decisions and being profitable in ways that they aren't able to communicate to us. I hope that I've clearly communicated these psychology concepts in a way that makes you clearly see why I am sad to see an incredible discretionary trader selling a course. In fact, I hope that presenting this information in a respectful way will now make you understand why I'm against all trading courses. We're not done yet, but if I've done my job correctly, you are now beginning to connect the dots on your own trading, what you will have to do to become successful, and hopefully some of you have joined me in my stance against buying trading courses. You should now see that there is no shortcut to becoming successful, and trading alerts, courses, and Discord servers that cost money are what people sell as shortcuts to make money. I am not profitable yet, and I'm only just getting started now on futures because of my living situation. I used to trade options for those who aren't familiar with me, but starting in August for the next few years, I will be spending hours per day watching price action move and nothing else. I'll be trading real money with good risk management. Personally, I think I can become consistently profitable in less than a year, but if it takes more than that, then that's fine. I'm not going to be wasting that time searching for the next smart money concept the next secret interview with institutional traders or market makers, or anything else. Think of trading as like learning to play the piano. Watching videos does nothing except either inspire you to be better, motivate you, or make you feel like giving up. At best, it might spark an idea. People spend thousands of hours to get good at it, and you'll never watch a video or hear a piece of advice that will suddenly make you be able to play for release without putting in a ton of work. Some of you will not change your ways, and some of that is because of the sunk cost fallacy. You have put a lot of your time and effort into videos that aren't actually benefiting you, and the idea of ending that is unacceptable to you. I'm sorry that you didn't see this video sooner, and please don't let the past investments you've made stop you from changing your trading path. There is still plenty of time for you to correct the course of your learning process. Focus on what's best for your future, rather than what you should do next based on what you've done in the past. It gets a little tricky with which videos have value and which ones don't. I'm not talking about general concepts related to behavior in the markets like Mark Douglas or Trader Tom. These people had/have value in their work. Mark helped ease my mind about accepting that I don't know what will happen next, and Tom helped open my eyes about how most people think they have to call reversals instead of just following the trend. Of course, I learned way more than that, but I'm just using that as an example. You can watch the Mark Douglas playlist in the top right after this. Those people said things that have real applications to my behavior. This is different from the same videos that get made over and over about how to trade using moving averages, candlestick patterns, and other indicators. I'm talking about channels like The Secret Mindset. I won't mention any other ones since that shouldn't be the takeaway from this video. They make their money through uploading trading videos and selling a course rather than from actually trading. If their trading method actually worked, they wouldn't give it away for a few $100. They would code it and then let the algorithm make them way richer than a course could. These videos do not have any type of benefit to learning price action because they're being taught explicitly, and price action is learned implicitly without our awareness. You can't teach intuition. It's good to have an understanding of how to identify a trend and other very basic things, but you really don't need a video talking about how higher highs and higher lows or whatever to see that price has been moving up. In that regard, some videos about very basic structures can be helpful, but I'm being generous in saying that. I know this has been a lot of information, but you're doing well. Let's just take a look at the next slide. Declarative memories are things that you intentionally remember and that require conscious effort to recall. Also known as explicit memory, this type of memory involves things such as remembering information for a test, remembering that you have an upcoming dentist appointment, and knowing your home address. Procedural memory is considered a type of implicit memory. Implicit memories are those that form without effort. When the lyrics to a popular song get stuck in your head, that's an example of implicit memory at work. You haven't expended any effort to learn the lyrics and melody of the song, in most cases. Simply hearing it in the background as you go about your day leads to the formation of implicit memory. A procedural memory or implicit memory is often difficult to explain. If someone asked you how to drive a car or ride a bike, for example, you might struggle to put it into words. If they asked you how to drive to your house, however, you would probably be able to articulate the route fairly easily. Think of learning how to trade like learning how to play the piano. It doesn't matter how many videos you watch. The only way to master playing the piano is through time, dedication, repetition, and by just playing the piano. A video about using a certain technique with your hand position might help a little, but watching videos about how to play the piano have zero application to your own ability to play. Think about that idea and how that applies to trading. Discretionary traders are trading on intuition, which is only gained through experience and so much time that price action has become an internalized language. If it was the trading system making them successful, they would code it. Except they don't code it because the system has nothing to do with why they're profitable. Think about how nonsensical it is for them to be selling a trading course to beginners who don't have that intuition. There are no shortcuts to learning trading. You do it until you're successful. You learn trading by trading. Expect this to take a long time. Some might have it in a year, and for some it may take several, especially if you're spending most of your time watching videos that don't help. I know I jokingly have said this before, but you genuinely should rewatch some of this if you're confused or overwhelmed. There should be lots of aha moments. Thank you so much to my patrons who have 3 exclusive videos, early video access, and we also have some secret Discord channels. Honestly, it's just a really nice way to support my mission on YouTube. These videos take a lot of time and effort. And if you want a ton of free stocks, check the description and use the link for Webull. You just have to deposit 1 penny. That's it. Thank you.